Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Play That Game. My name is Volker and I will play that game. Today we are continuing our journey as Roadwarden. It will be part 3 of our playthrough. In the first part we reached a military outpost where only 2 soldiers were left. We received some information about the peninsula, its inhabitants, and we also got to know that the previous Roadwarden just disappeared. No one knows what happened with him, where he is, what did he do. We don't know. We continued our journey after a calm and restful night and reached an inn. Lovely people, lovely food, comfy bed. So now it's the next morning and we shall continue. If you like this type of video, give it please a thumbs up. If you want to do me a huge favor, subscribe to the channel so you will always see new content, new games, old games. We will see. Have fun with the playthrough and I see you in the game. So in the intro I was telling you guys that it would be the next morning already, but it seems it's not. So here the story continues. You hear a thunderous roar. You rise to your feet and rub the sleep from your eyes. The doors are opening. People are shouting orders and words of warning. As you open the window, you see what's behind the commotion. Something is on the other side of the wall, trying to get through, and the guards are fighting it off with their torches, spears and crossbows. Thanks to their light, you see the large furry paws placed on the top of the wall walk. As far as you can tell, the beast is but a single leap away from getting inside. I need to help them. Or it's not their first night, they know what they are doing. I mean, we are very new on this peninsula and we want to make definitely a good expression here, so I need to help them. You look for your gamson and blade, still a bit foggy in your thoughts, and once you find them, you struggle to get inside the jacket. As your habits kick in, you see the innkeeper right in front of you, holding a candle. "You're a guest, stay here," he says without a shadow of hesitation. "My team has no time to worry about outsiders." Just after his words, you hear cheerful laughter from the wall. Judging by the way they point their fingers and lower their weapons, the beast is fleeing. Guess I say, well, I shouldn't expect people will need my help all the time. The small room is quiet and far away from unwanted eyes. You take a calm bath, rest on a soft mattress, look through the window and enjoy the minutes of safety. In the morning, you find a stool with a large wooden plate bearing an aromatic breakfast, a decent stew with white bread to dip. Downstairs, the innkeeper is putting firewood into the stove. He asks if you need anything. About Clausia's band. He freezes, observing your hands silently. He wants me to get the answer from the mayor of Holasdale. I'm on it. Any leftovers? Yep, you're lucky. I was planning to give it to the boar. He goes to the stove and in a couple of minutes prepares you a meal. Here, You see a bowl of simple gruel and a mug of ale. While you are eating, he asks if you need anything else. That's all I need. I go outside. You step outside. Ludmilla is napping. At this hour, the armorer's workshop is closed. I go to the well. The recently renovated wooden roof covers the well from rain and birds. One of the guards is enjoying the cold drink he drew with a bucket and tells you to use only as much water as is necessary. You need at least one piece of bathing equipment to get more out of this place. I step away. I approach the guards. The woman in yellow armor is kneeling next to a brown hairy boar, which is resting on its side. The beast is not as large as the dark ones from the forests. It responds to the touch of the human hand, and brush with grateful grunting and rapid twitches of a hind roof. No matter how friendly it appears, it's still tethered to the well, and you have no doubts that its charge would leave Ludmilla dead in a breath. When the woman notices you, she steps forward, to the boar's disappointment. "So, the new Roadwarden," she points to a window with her chin, forestalling the questions. "We don't need anything now, but when we travel with our furs, we can use some assistance." She may be around 30, but her warm voice and bright smile are camouflaging the touch of time on her unpowdered face. Like many red-haired people with freckles, her skin is unhealthy pale. The boar runs up to her, observing your boots and fruitlessly sniffing for food beneath the beaten ground. She pats its back, but maintains her focus. "How about a game or two? We have a bit of time and can talk a bit about this and that. Maybe you'll get a couple of coins, or lose one," she winks. "We could play dice or throw axes at the target." "I don't really have time." "Right, I kind of thought so." Her smile disappears. She returns to the other guards. "Roadwardens are always busy, ain't they? Better hope you have a day to rest sometime." Have you ever been at the heart of the woods? We sometimes hunt south from here. There are good hunting grounds in the western half. The second one is too overgrown. Maybe the soil is different. She shrugs, then moves the hair away from her forehead. "But it's a risky spot. There are treants there and wolves, even the furless ones. And if you have to go through the tall grasses, watch out for what's on the ground. There ain't many archers in the trees." She smiles as if it's a joke. "But there are all too many worms, even larger than a water leech." I walk away. Let's go to travel. The road uphill meanders, slowing you down and forcing you to pay close attention not only to the shadows of the trees, but also to the tight, rocky passages. You can't help but notice a few caves and find ambush spots. I keep an eye out for any sign of life. Standing in front of the gate, you hear no voices, No tools at work, no steps. Dozens of birds live among the collapsed roofs. Their fluttering, singing and squawking is free of worries. If you want to travel any further, you need to ride around the palisade. Searching the ruins may take a lot of time. The broken gate in the north will lead you to the village. The sound of a gentle river reaches you from the east, where you see a saggy fence surrounding an overgrown pasture. Behind the burnt building in the east, you see an oddly barren field. I approach the building near the field. I take a closer look at the gate, or I move forward. What do we do? Let's take a closer look at the gate. The palisade is in good shape, and the entrance wasn't even touched by the fire. It was torn away, possibly thrown. The amount of used force must have been huge, but you'd expect that it would push the gate into the village, not away from it. You don't see any marks of a dragon bite. A troll could toss such planks, but after so many years, you see no paw prints. A mage? You can't really tell. I approach the building near the field. The broken logs and planks are charred, while the wooden walls are rotten and covered in moss. You see no ashes or dust, proving that the fire happened long ago. The smell is awful, and there are no reasons to stay for long. You see no furniture, just some broken shelves. It was just a storage room. The valuable odds and ends were already taken by the scavengers. I move forward. Where do you want to go? I explore the southwest of the village. I inspect the fields in the southwest. I inspect the pasture. Let's have a quick look here at our journal. Quest. Yeah, we should find the Roadwarden as quest. Glaucia's band. According to Pelt's innkeep, Glaucia and her band have broken the truce with the local villagers. He's going to pay me 2 dragons if I get in touch with Tyas, the mayor of Holar's Dell, and bring him her response. Okay. Where's the map? Is that in the inventory? No. Character sheet. So where am I? I am now at the destroyed village. I explore the southwest part of the village. The buildings, some of which have collapsed, are made of wood, now charred and rotten. You spot claw marks on the walls, especially close to the doors and window frames. They could belong to a dragonling, or a large wolf, larger than the grey ones, or a corpse eater. Too many options to make a guess. Yet, no beast remains inside. Oh, here's the map. Tulia's camp. This was the inn, and here is the ruins, a once prosperous village now abandoned and full of debris. You are currently here. Okay. Okay. Still 13 hours until dusk. It's quite large, but I can fit in on my saddle. Did I read this already? No. You find the remains of clothes, furniture, odds and ends. Only one object seems to be of use. Excuse me. A basket-like fish trap made of vines and willow branches. If a large fish swims into it, it won't be able to get out on its own. It's quite large, but I can fit it on my saddle. You feel a slight aching in your stomach. Where do you want to go? I go to the main square. In every village, the main square is the fanciest area, meant to charm the travelers. Yet this is more than you expected. The houses are as big as in Hoflavan, and the paved ground took a lot of work and materials. The walls, now charred and riddled with holes, are made of an expensive coated metal. The tiles for the roofs also had to be brought here from a different settlement. You peek inside the 3 smaller buildings, the rotting remains of their former splendor. The birds living in dozens of nests respond to your arrival with quite a commotion. You don't find even a single dragon bone, nor a tool or a piece of furniture left unbroken or unrotten. You're surrounded by bad smells, dirt, animal droppings and garbage. The well also stinks. It has no bucket, but you'd be afraid to use it anyway. Who knows how many birds have relieved themselves inside, or how many old rats have found their death while climbing up the walls. Suddenly, you hear some sounds coming from the largest building. Your stomach makes you let out a painful groan. I should check it out. I prepare my axe. You step cautiously toward the scent of urine and sweat. The flickering candlelight shows you broken furniture, yet no signs of burned wood. You consider pulling the other door when a masculine voice proves that your presence is not unnoticed. I didn't want it to come to this, but stay where you are. Whatever you put inside, be it a shoe, a hand, or your dim thinker, I get bold. Let's be distanced. I'm the new Roadwarden. Let's talk. A short pause. Well, we can talk, we can. But how is it that you choose this place to visit, from all that there are? He goes on before you respond. It may be you're telling the truth. So let's say this. My little ballista here is all pulled and ready, but you won't do anything stupid, right? No running, no jumping around. Show your hands. The man's voice lacks confidence, and his accent is tricky for you. He could be from the distant south, but as long as you don't speak too quickly, you understand one another. You don't hear any other movements, breathing, voices. You lean your axe against the doorframe and make sure that your knife is well hidden. I walk inside. The dense smell of urine hits you with full force, while the tools and utensils are hard to distinguish from the rubbish. The route to the upper floor is blocked by the collapsed roof and loose wooden beams. There are scraps of rusting iron and steel on the ground, detached from now destroyed barrels. The scavenger is sitting on a blanket in front of the tent, pointing at the floor with his loaded crossbow. Not a short man, though a bit skinny. He is tanned, dark-haired, and has seen his share of struggles. There are long claw scars on his left cheek, and another one that would divide his eyebrow in half if it hadn't been consumed by a fire, just like the rest of his forehead. His clothes are untainted by vanity. He's barefoot, in a dirty linen shirt with rolled-up sleeves and simple pants that use a cord for a belt. His long beard and hair are untrimmed and tangled. I sit on the stairs with raised hands. I'm not a threat. You wipe the dust off the steps, but before you sit down, you hear the man's annoyed voice. "No, don't get too homey. It's the only place here that's not just ashes and debris, and I'm not sharing it. You better right ahead. I already piled up whatever hasn't rotten." The candlelights are dancing on his burned face and arms. He moves his crossbow just enough to make sure he won't shoot you by accident. "I saw your horse. Maybe you could help me, What are you looking for in this place? You don't sound like you're from the north." I need to get to know the peninsula if if I'm going to patrol it. Then better stay away from the eastern paths. No shell rides there anyway. Even the west and the coast have roads like moose crab. I've traveled and paddled for years now, you know. I wait for some group to join. And here, people don't travel or know damn anything about any place. Just a waste of time, I tell ya. A long pause. "Now listen," he scratches his thighs nervously. "I'm hungry, so damn hungry. I can't hunt or fish with all the Appermen around. Can you share anything, Roadster? I may be a drifter, but wouldn't back if I had not lost my bags on the road." Take these cereals and crackers. With some water, you'll have a gruel. He lets out a relieved breath. I may even boil it." After a moment of hesitation, he grabs a cracker. "Without ya, I would have to run after birds with my ballista, but I need to save the bolts for the ape man. And because of those stinkers, I can't roast here, and raw meat makes me want to puke. Thank ya." After a couple of solid bites, he puts your gifts in 2 wooden bowls. "Now, Roadster," he says with a full mouth, "if you have questions, ask. I'll say a lot to make you get me out of here." "Tell me about yourself." He gives you a sullen glance. "What for? I've no legacy to keep alive in tales. I may tell you this and that after you take me out of here." "How do you keep the goblins away?" "I've got a trick or two to keep me safe. A little something that scares them away, even without magic. But tell you what," his smile turns into a wide grin. "Help me get out of here and I'm going to share some of it with ya." "Are you sure there are no undead around?" He nods. "I've seen none. People say it's been less than 10 years since the herds came here. But don't know if anyone bothered with raising the pyres. If not, the dead are all roaming in the forest now." He clicks his tongue with frustration. It may be that there's a walker somewhere under the debris, waiting to break through like a dragon in an egg. He looks straight at you. "Aye, you'd better not dig." "Have you searched the entire village? Are there no hidden treasures left?" "You came to the wrong place. Time moisture, and the damn borers devoured all the loot. I've been here for a couple of days now, and all that's left is this iron I carried here. I was planning to get back here with some hired muscle and clear the collapsed buildings, but I doubt it's worth the time and risk. I've heard about some bandits. Have you seen any hideouts nearby? Nah, I think they are in the north or east. I stuck to the western road, and no shell bothered me. Sorry I can't help ya. I should ask him what he wants. Where do you want to travel to now? And what will you give me for my help? Let me explain first. I was in Holar's Dell, the closest village to the east and north, and people there are nice, you know? Not like in old Pegasus. They are all boring and grimmer than a crow. But they cry coin for everything, and damn good coin. I left, wanted to look around the ruins, see if there's anything left, then moved to Pelt and hire the hunters to help me here. No luck. A bunch of griffs jumped my pack bird. I just bought it. He spits on the floor, fast and nimble, but not brave enough to listen to me when all that screeching and scratching started. So it ran away with my bags. A few fell on the ground and I pulled them here. But see how it is. I won't travel around with a tent on my back. He taps the crossbow with his fingers. I need maybe a day more. Just a day. And I have all the iron scrapped from the barrels, so I can move forward. But can't take all my stuff alone. And without me around, the ape men are going to break in and steal all my shit. I need to stay here. But since you have a horse, come back tomorrow and help me return to the Holar's Den. How about it? I just need to know that the road is safe. Safe as it can be, I mean. What exactly do you want me to do? Yeah, just wants here some free help, huh? Freeloader. After I gave him food. But let's see. I need you to make sure there's no danger hiding on the road. From here to Holar's. Well, we are Roadwarden, kind of our thing, right? Or rather, I know there is some danger, but as long as you can get there and safely return, I'm sure we can handle some roaming monsters. He theoretically rubs his hands together. This ballista has hit more beast skulls than I have fingers, and I've never lost a finger, Roadster. Only the toes. Maybe to prove it, he starts to count on his fingers. So see if the road there is clear, then come here tomorrow. We'll pack my stuff on your horse and move out. But don't come when it's close to evening. We are going to need 3 hours on our feet, and I won't push through the night. Even sleeping next to an ape-man tribe is safer, he chuckles. And don't make me wait for too long. I can wait for a couple of days if I find some food. But if you don't get back, I have to risk it, no matter what. Why Holar's Dell? If you want to go south, you should travel to the Pelt of the North. I mean, I see a point, but I've never been there. Can they afford my iron? Do they have means to pay for it? I need coins to find a handy bunch that will walk south with me, and I need a new staff and bolts. I know the village, it's a nice place, and even has a smithy of sorts. I had the chance to take a look though. It's a large inn, a safe one. They seem to be rich and have enough hunters to guide you south. You can use iron to barter. Well, it's a shorter path, I guess. Fewer spots to get surrounded by corpses. If you're sure it's the best option, fine. I'll trust the Roadster's judgment. I don't work for free. I have ways to pay you, don't you worry. I can give you dragons, but I'll have to sell the iron first, so I'll need a bit of time, you see? 5 for a short escort would be plenty, I'd say. But if you want, I'll give you a secret jar of mine, a very fine mixture that scares 8 men away. Works on pebblers too. When you ask if all this stench of urine is somehow related to his potion, he just winks and chuckles. Fine, it's a deal. I'm going to escort you. Thanks, Roadster. Just come tomorrow. I'll make it worth your time. Time for me to leave. Your stomach makes you let out a painful groan. Where do you want to go? Let's travel on. You can only go back? Why? Well, let's have a look at the northern gate then. The paths here have almost been reclaimed by grasses. To your east and west, you see shadowy alleys behind damaged buildings. I take a closer look at the gate. Pushed or pulled, it doesn't move an inch. Someone has spread dirt and rocks both underneath it and around it, seemingly to keep the planks stuck in the ground. I want to open the gate. You should take a look at the other side to be sure it's even possible, especially since it may take a couple of hours without proper tools. I approach the nearby tree. You don't find anything worth picking. The half-dead quinces have maggots crawling under their skins. You wonder which part of this meal is more tempting for the dark-winged birds sitting among the branches, the flesh of the fruits or the worms. Quinces are rarely eaten without having a chance to bleed. You can safely guess that they were meant to be dried or to add taste to cookies or hard drinks. After a few moments, you realize that the bottom part of the tree just above the ground is partially charred. Someone must have posed a torch here, but the wet wood didn't burst into flame. I go somewhere else. I explore the northwest part of the village. The colorful grass covers the entire fenced pasture. The large stone placed in the middle suggests it could be a playground for ibexes, or maybe just an old garden. You see a couple of small sheds, a latrine, and a single building to the south, completely burned down. All of these places were cleaned out by scavengers. Ludmilla doesn't want to approach the large ruins in the north. The terrible stench of feces and rotting food scares you off as well. The paths are covered with goblin footprints. It's daytime, so the pack should be asleep. If the beasts were active, they would try to scare you off or to hunt down your mount. This is their territory, and once they wake up, you will face a furious enemy. I go somewhere else, quietly. The closer you are to the village and the longer you stay around, the sicker you feel. The taste of gastric juices hits your mouth. Your forehead hurts. You start to stumble. Ludmilla, worried by the sight, pokes your head with its nose. I walk far away from the walls. Leaning on your mount, you go outside, keeping your mouth shut. After a few minutes, your eyes get clearer. It may be better to leave, or at least to stay away from the village for the rest of the day. You stop and touch your aching stomach. Where do you want to go? Let's travel. Let's travel away from here. The curvy road east is overgrown. Ludmilla trots when it has a chance, but more often it walks, forced to jump over large branches blocking the path. The nearby lake is surrounded by thirsty wildlife. I observe the dark forest, ready to react if something jumps at me. Oh, what's coming here? Couple of stone slabs were turned into a hut-like shape, one of the ancient chapels raised by the priests of the United Church in the days of few soldiers and even fewer shelters. Dolmens proved to be especially durable, though the conditions they offered were harsh. The entrance is barely wide enough to let you walk inside. It was meant to keep larger beasts away, including your palfrey. You can't spend the night here. You dismount and look around. Still 11 hours and 15 minutes before dusk, so I enter the chapel. The beams of light get through the gaps between the rocks, but you can hardly see anything. A torch would fill the place with smoke, but the candle will suffice. You wonder how many travelers have sit on the cold rock, observing the entrance and fighting with their heavy eyelids. I look around. What are you looking for or paying attention to? Example, door. Loot. You either don't find it, or I can't understand you. I look for something else. Food. I go outside. Ludmilla is leaning against the wall, napping. I approach the hourglass carved in the outer wall. It's the most common religious sign of the city folk, adapted by the United Church, Orders of Truth, and the majority of fellowships. It's used in temples and during the funeral rites, but also to decorate codices or jewelry. The winged hourglasses portray the ephemerality. Sorry, English is not my first language, and it shows of life and the rigidity of time. When possible, they are made of steel, signifying the strength of humankind's determination and innovation. I don't want the locals to get upset at me for destroying their sacred sites. I step away. And we travel on. Just one direction possible. Let's go further west. No, east. Should be east. The neglected path barely finds any space among all the hills, trees and streams. There's a deer on the ground, lying in a red puddle, surrounded by a small pack of creatures, which notice your presence quickly. There's about 8 of them, with thick furs in shades of brown, grey and black, and hairless faces with small eyes and large mouths, currently stained by the blood of their prey. Some of them move on all fours, while others comfortably stand on 2 feet. There are 2 or 3 heads shorter than you. but it's your mount which truly towers over them, and you see how a couple of the beasts take a few steps back, grunting and glancing at one another. The one with grey fur shouts, and the others move towards the rock and sticks which are piled on the road. They hold them awkwardly, and some struggle to maintain a straight posture, leaning on their new weapons for support. Then almost all of them spread to your left and right, blending with the shrubs loudly. Only 2 of the apes are standing still. I grab my axe and hold the reins tightly. Ludmilla tries to turn around, but loyally follows your directions. I scream at the pack, shaking my weapon. I try to scare them away. You do your best, raising your voice in a fierce shout and showing that you are ready to take them down. The grey goblin seems unmoved, showing you its long tusks and swinging its arms, and its younger companion looks around, grunting, but then stays in place. The grey one then focuses its attention on you, or rather, something that's just behind you. Then you get stabbed in the back, literally. You turn around, seeing a goblin that, as far as you can tell, was not a part of the group surrounding the carcass. It's holding a wooden spear, or rather a pointed stick, longer than the creature is tall. Your armor was able to reduce the impact, but you feel the pain from the hit, and you can tell that the linen was torn. You'll need to find someone able to fix it. You wonder how many of them are still hiding among the trees. And I can't win, and I can't run away. I rush Ludmilla forward. Your mount speeds up. Though it doesn't have enough space to enter a gallop, you prepare your weapon. But while you may have hundreds of hours of training behind you, hardly any of them happened in the saddle. You do your best to focus. The younger goblin attempts to stop your horse, but the strike it receives sends it into the nearby bush, screaming in pain. The grey one, however, manages to grab your boot and is now trying to keep up with your speed, making one long leap after another. The first strong swing of your axe wasn't able to reach the target. A spear would do better in this scenario. I aim for the head. A lucky swing of your axe hits its skull, not only crushing the bone, but also pushing it out of your way. It rolls over the road, and your mount runs faster. Still riding, you shake the blood off your blade. Your leg is free. The road is clear. We ride as fast as we can. For a few moments, you hear the angry shouts and screeches, but soon after that, it's again only you and your mount. Whew. That was a hairy situation. But how injured are we? I mean, vitality is still full. It's not too bad. Time to see what you are going to find down the road. A round pine tree blocks the road. For a wayfarer, walking over the thin branches at the top is not much of an issue. Even Ludmilla, led on a rope, could walk around the stump. But the large wagon couldn't move onward in one piece, at least not without detaching the mules, unpacking all the wares, and moving everything by hand. Cutting a tree into pieces would take hours, even with proper tools, and you can't hope to move it with just the muscles that you and your mount have to offer. I consider washing myself in the river. The river is full of life, not only a bit brown and greenish, but also smelling of algae. It won't help you much. Step away. You go to Miller. I want to look around. Spend some time setting up a fish trap at the bank. I want to look around. What do you investigate? The tracks. In the trampled grass you find 2 sets of tracks to follow. There are no hoof prints. The first set is near the destroyed wagon. The wayfarers suddenly stopped. You can see where they made the sharp turn. The second trail is close to the tree stump. Most of the marks were left by flat, cheap boots, not suitable for long walks. But someone was wearing hard, wide heels, distorting the ground. Both trails avoid the eastern wilderness. They stick to the main road and lead you north. They could have belonged to 24 people, maybe more. You follow them for a bit, but lose them once there's no more mud and tree needles to find. Let's inspect the wagon. The planks are still firm and there's no mustiness in the air, but the vehicle needs just a push to fall to pieces, like a child's toy with nothing to keep the parts together. There are ways to construct a wagon with just wood, leather and fiber, but you find the marks of hinges, braces, nails and clamps, which are now all gone. The wheels are missing all their steel rims. You find only one linen bag, empty and moist. You can't estimate how deep the tracks are. The ground was hard, so the cart's weight wasn't a significant factor. Let's have a look at the bushes. There are no berries left, only broken twigs, fallen leaves, and trampled grass. You notice a pointy arrow made by a human hand, with a head made of horn and black-orange fletching. You don't know what type of bird would have such feathers. You see no arrow marks around, not even on the wagon. What about the western hill? The rocky wall isn't much of a challenge. The top of the hill is covered with short grass and sparse trees. You notice a couple of bushes with a good view of the road, just next to the remains of a campfire. Charred pieces of wood, ash, bird bones, trampled grass, and a broken earthenware bottle. You follow the deepest tracks leading to the edge of the soft earth. Someone jumped down, or at least stopped stepping on the grass. I think I know what happened here. What do you think has happened to the tree? It was cut down to set up an ambush. Why was the wagon abandoned? It was attacked by monsters. What was originally transported on the wagons? Food supplies. What happened to the owners of the wagon? They've disappeared in the wilderness. You think that the tree was cut down to set up an ambush. The cart, which transported food supplies, was attacked by monsters. Its owners have disappeared in the wilderness. Are you sure that this is most likely what happened? I'm sure. While you can't be sure of what really happened here, you don't think there is much left for you to find. Let's hope you haven't missed anything. Let's travel on. And I would say let's travel to the next episode. I will finish here. We will see where the journey will take us next. I hope we will find soon some place where we can sleep. And nothing left for me to say, but thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next adventure. If you like the video, as I said before, give it please a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel, it would mean so much to me. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, bye.